Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
The idea of being very brave is sometimes called daring greatly. Think about a person who is trying hard at something important. Imagine them in a place like a sports arena, trying their best. Maybe their face gets dusty and they sweat. They are trying hard. They might make mistakes. They might fail. But they are in the arena, trying. They are not standing outside, just watching others. This picture helps understand what it means to dare greatly. It means being active in your life, even when it is difficult. What makes being active difficult? It is vulnerability. Vulnerability means feeling unsure about things. It is taking emotional risks. It is showing your feelings to others. For example, when you tell someone you love them for the first time, you feel vulnerable. You don't know how they will answer. Or when you share a new idea for a project, you might worry if people will like it. These moments show vulnerability. It is part of life. We all feel unsure sometimes. We all take risks. We all have emotions that others can see. We cannot choose to not feel vulnerable. Vulnerability is not something we can just stop having. The only choice we have is how we act when we feel vulnerable. Do we hide, or do we show up and try? Being willing to feel vulnerable is a sign of courage. It shows that we have a purpose and we want to live it. If we try too hard to be safe or perfect, we miss out on important parts of life. We miss chances to connect and grow. The person who wrote this book shares their own story. At first, they did not like vulnerability at all. It felt very uncomfortable. They were raised in a way that taught them to be strong and not show weakness. They tried to avoid feeling vulnerable. They tried different ways to protect themselves, like being a good girl or trying to be perfect. But then they started doing research. They studied how people connect. This research led them to study shame and worthiness. They looked at people who seemed to live happy, full lives. These people were called wholehearted. The research showed that these wholehearted people did not avoid vulnerability. They saw it as necessary. They believed vulnerability helped them feel love, joy, belonging, and courage. Later, this person gave a public talk about their research. Millions of people saw the talk online. People from all over the world said they felt the same way. They also felt scared sometimes. They also wanted to be brave and feel more connected. This showed that the ideas about vulnerability and courage are important for everyone in many different parts of life, at work, at home, at school. This strong response helped the person decide to write this book. It is written to help others understand vulnerability and learn how to live with courage and a whole heart. 2. Never feeling enough. People often call others narcissistic. This word is used a lot today. But maybe this behavior comes from something else. It might be a fear of shame. It is the fear of being seen as only ordinary. It is a terror of never feeling good enough to be noticed or loved. Our culture can make people feel this way. Messages tell us that an ordinary life is not important. There is a bigger problem. It is called a culture of scarcity. In this culture, people constantly feel they are never enough. They feel they are not good enough. They feel they are not perfect enough. They feel they are not successful enough. They feel they are not even safe enough. This constant feeling of never enough makes people unhappy. It causes difficult feelings inside them. It can lead to jealousy and dissatisfaction with life. This culture of scarcity grows because of three main things. The first is shame. Shame is a painful feeling that you are bad or wrong. It can make people afraid of being judged. The second is constant comparison. People look at others and always feel they are not as good. They compare their real lives to perfect pictures they see. The third is disengagement. This means people stop trying to connect with others or take emotional risks. They choose to hide to feel safe. To move away from feeling never enough, the answer is not to get more or be perfect. The answer is not having great abundance, which is just another kind of more. The real path is to feel that you are simply enough. This feeling is called wholeheartedness. It means living with courage, kindness, and connection. Living with wholeheartedness means you can face difficult times and things you are not sure about. You can feel okay with uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. You can do this because you have a deep sense of worthiness. Worthiness means you know you are good and okay just as you are. A scarcity culture makes it hard to feel worthy. But choosing to believe I am enough is the way to live a brave and fulfilling life. People want to be brave and feel enough. 3. What is vulnerability? Many people do not like vulnerability. They have ideas about it that are not true. Let's look at 4 common wrong ideas or myths about vulnerability. The first myth is that vulnerability is weakness. This is a very common idea, but it is not true. When you are vulnerable, you are showing feelings like fear or sadness. But vulnerability is also where good feelings come from. Things like love, joy, and courage start with vulnerability. Think about acts of courage, like speaking up for someone or trying something new that is hard. These acts need you to be vulnerable. They are not weak acts. They are brave acts. The second myth is, I do not do vulnerability. Some people say they can just choose not to be vulnerable. But this is not true. Life itself has uncertainty and risk. You cannot avoid vulnerability. You can choose how you act when you feel unsure or when you show your feelings. But you cannot stop these feelings from happening. The third myth is that vulnerability means you must tell everyone everything. This is also not true. True vulnerability needs rules or boundaries. You should share your feelings and stories with people who have shown they care about you and who you trust. Trust grows slowly, little by little. Think of it like putting stones in a jar. When someone is kind and safe, you add a stone. Over time, the jar fills up. Sharing your deep feelings with someone you just met is not really vulnerability. It can make you feel more separate, not more connected. The fourth myth is that you can be vulnerable alone. This is hard to do. When you are vulnerable, you need support from others. You need people who will not judge you. You need friends who can help you when things are difficult. You cannot go through the hard parts of being vulnerable by yourself. It is important to have people around you who are in the arena with you. Understanding what vulnerability really is helps us. It is not weakness. You cannot avoid it. It needs trust and boundaries, and you need support for it. When we understand this, we can try to live in a more wholehearted way. 4. Facing our shame. To be brave and open, we need to be strong against shame. Shame is like a small voice inside. It tells us we are not good enough. These negative thoughts are sometimes called gremlins. Shame is something almost everyone feels. It is important to talk about shame. If we keep it a secret, shame becomes strong. When we talk about it, shame loses its power. What is shame exactly? It is a very painful feeling. It is the feeling that we are somehow broken. We feel we do not deserve to be loved or to belong. Shame is different from guilt. Guilt is when you feel bad about something you did. You think, I did something bad. Guilt can help you change. Shame is when you feel bad about who you are. You think, I am bad. Shame makes you feel stuck. Humiliation is also different. It happens when someone treats you badly and you feel you did not deserve it. Embarrassment is the least serious. It is often a quick feeling, and you know others have felt it too. People can learn to be stronger against shame. This is called shame resilience. There are 4 main things that help. The first thing is to see shame when it happens. You learn what shame feels like in your body and what things make you feel ashamed. The second thing is to look closely at the messages that cause shame. Are they real? Are they what you want or what others expect? The third thing is to reach out to someone you trust. Share your feelings and your story with them. The fourth thing is to speak about shame. Talk about how you feel and what you need. Sharing your story with a kind person helps shame disappear. Research shows shame feels a little different for men and women. For women, shame often comes from many different expectations. It is like a complex net of ideas about how they should look or act. For men, shame is often tied to one main idea: they should never look weak. It is like being put in a small box where showing fear or needing help is not allowed. Being strong against shame helps us be more open and brave in life. 5. Our shields from pain. People often build walls around themselves. These walls are like armor or shields. They use them to feel safe from feeling vulnerable. But these shields also stop them from connecting with others. One common shield is called foreboding joy. This is when you feel happy, but then you get a fear that something bad will happen soon. You worry that the good feeling will end in trouble. The way to fight this shield is to practice gratitude. You stop and think about the good things you have right now. You feel thankful for them. Another shield people use is perfectionism. This is the idea that if you are perfect and do everything perfectly, then nobody can blame you or make you feel shame. But nobody is perfect. Perfectionism makes it hard to dare greatly. The way to overcome this is to be kind to yourself, even when you make mistakes. This is called self-compassion. You also learn to see beauty in things that are not perfect. A third shield is numbing. This means trying to stop feeling uncomfortable feelings, like sadness or worry. People might stay super busy, work all the time, or use other things to feel less. But when you numb the hard feelings, you also numb the good feelings, like joy, love, and creativity. You cannot choose to feel only happy things. To fight numbing, you need to set limits or boundaries. You also need to find things that truly comfort your spirit, not just cover up feelings for a little while. There are other shields too, though they are less common. Some people see the world in only two ways. You are either a Viking who is strong and wins, or a victim who is weak and loses. This thinking stops them from showing any vulnerability. Other people might overshare very private things too soon with people they don't know well. This is not real vulnerability. It is called floodlighting. It can push people away. Another shield is called serpentining. This means using a lot of energy to avoid difficult feelings or problems instead of facing them directly. Lastly, people might use cynicism, criticism, acting cool, or being cruel as weapons to keep vulnerability far away from them and others. These shields might feel safe for a moment, but they build walls instead of bridges to connection. 6. Living our values. Think about the words you see at train stations. Mind the gap. This means think about the space between the train and the platform. We can use this idea for our lives. There is a gap between what we say we believe and how we actually act. What we say we value, like honesty or kindness, are our aspirational values. How we really live, what we actually do, shows our practiced values. When there is a big space between these two things, people lose trust. This happens everywhere. It happens in families, when parents say one thing but do another. Children get confused when the rules change based on what the adults do, not what they say is right. It happens with leaders, too, in politics or religion. If leaders do not live the values they talk about, people feel let down. This big gap makes people feel separate and not connected. To close this gap, we need to pay attention. We need to think about our values and try to live them each day. This is not easy. It needs courage. It means we have to be vulnerable. We have to show up and try, even when it feels hard or uncomfortable. Living our values means facing difficult feelings. It means using the skills we learned about shame resilience. We might make mistakes. That is okay. It is important to know when we make a mistake, say sorry, and try to do better. This imperfect trying is part of living bravely and closing the gap between what we believe and how we live. 7. Brave work and family life. A leader is anyone who helps others use their skills and make things better. In places where people work or learn, like offices or schools, a big problem is the fear of being made fun of. This fear stops new ideas from coming out and growing. To make these places more human and kind, we need brave actions. This means understanding why people feel they are not enough, being open and vulnerable, and stopping shame. Shame is the feeling that you are bad, and it hurts people in groups. Signs of shame in a workplace or school can be people blaming others or having favorites. To build places where people are strong against shame, leaders can have honest talks about feelings. They can also teach people about shame and how to handle it. Giving and getting feedback is very important. Feedback helps people learn and get better. Sometimes feedback is hard to hear and it feels uncomfortable, but this discomfort is normal when we are learning and growing. Now, let's think about family life, especially parenting. It is not about knowing all the perfect rules for raising children. What matters more is who the parent is as a person. Parents should try to be the adult they want their children to become. The main goal is to raise children who feel good about themselves and know they are worthy. This includes teaching them how to handle shame. It is helpful to teach children the difference between shame and guilt. Shame says, "I am bad." Guilt says, "I did something bad." Guilt is useful because it helps a child learn from a mistake and try to do better. Children also need to feel they belong. Belonging is when you are accepted for who you are. This is different from just fitting in, which means changing yourself so others will like you. Children need to feel they belong at home, just as they are. Allowing children to face difficulties and struggle sometimes is important. It helps them learn how to hope. Hope is not just a feeling. It is about setting goals, finding ways to reach them, and believing, I can do this. Children who have faced problems and worked through them often have more hope. 8. Choose to be brave. Let's remember the idea of the person in the arena. Theodore Roosevelt spoke about the one who is in the fight, getting dusty and sweaty, even if they do not always win. Daring greatly is like this. It is not finally about the result, whether you win or lose. It is about the courage you show just by being there, by trying. We live in a world that often tells us we are not good enough. This is a culture of scarcity. Shame is also powerful, making us feel we are not worthy of love or belonging. In this world, choosing to be vulnerable feels very different. It feels uncomfortable. It feels unsafe, like you are doing something you should not do. It means you risk emotional pain. Because of this, many people choose to hide or stay quiet. They build shields around their hearts. But there is another feeling, a deeper pain. This is the feeling of standing on the edge of your own life. You are safe, but you are not truly living. You watch other people engage and connect. You wonder, what if I had been brave? What might my life be like if I had stepped into the arena? This feeling of being disconnected, of not letting yourself be seen, is often much more painful in the long run. It is a quiet hurt that stays with you. So, the most important choice you can make is to dare greatly. This means you decide to show up fully, just as you are. You let yourself be seen by others. You choose to engage completely in your life, with your relationships, and with all your experiences. This is not a one-time event. It is a journey, a daily choice. It takes courage every day. You will feel discomfort. You might feel afraid or even get hurt sometimes. But this courageous path of vulnerability is the only way to live a truly full, wholehearted life. It is where you find deep connection, real joy, and lasting purpose. It is how you experience triumph. You choose to be brave. You step into the arena of your life and live it with your whole heart. What is one small way you could dare greatly in your life this week?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.